Willkommen, bienvenue, hola. This is A.CARD of the Arguably Awesome Podcast. That's all I had. Not a big spectacular intro like I'd want, but we got a budget, which is very low. That being said, today's episode, as the title says, a few forgotten films. 5 to be exact, plus 2 makes 7 because they're going to be honorable mentions at the end. Well, maybe you've forgotten these films, maybe you didn't. Maybe you own them like me. These films I definitely didn't forget about. One, which had Robin Williams in it, but I guess it's on Disney Plus now. We're going to get to that. That'll be our number 2. But yeah, let's check it out today on the Arguably Awesome Podcast. Roll it! So yeah, as the title says, we have some abstract movies, actually. Maybe you never even heard of some of these, which is great, because then I can ramble on and brag about them, because I'm a big movie buff and a collector. Oh, a little bit of, what do you call it? Self-promotion here. This summer, July 2023, I'm going to be collaborating with an awesome actress from Tokyo, Japan, Aki Hiraoka. And if you've seen one of our episodes that were uploaded recently, was one of my special guests, or I should say our special guest. Airflow couldn't make it. He was a little busy that day, so it was a little bit of a solo interview, just me and her, which turned out great, and he loved it. So I've collaborated with her, and we're going to be starting our own YouTube channel, dissecting a lot of Japanese horror films. Horror comedy, straight up horror, give you nightmares in your bed, can't sleep with the light off, don't look under the bed, watch out for Juan. I'm talking about the full throttle Japanese horror, and she apparently loves it, as she has made her own short film. Yeah, it's called Dissecting Cinema. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Please like, share. Well, we don't have anything to like yet, except this awesome trailer I put together. It's been 1 week as of me recording this. I'm obsessed with it. I put some Battle of 18, there was a Tchaikovsky piece that I edited down heavily, and you can't even tell if you're listening to it. Mixed up all these pieces of Japanese horror movies that I have, put it in one trailer, and it turned out pretty well. And this will in no way affect the Arguably Awesome Podcast, as Airflow and I are continuing to bust out videos and podcasts for y'all. We got a lot of special guests coming up, but now let's get to the main part of this podcast, the forgotten films. Anyway, our first film, Nothing But Trouble. Let's see, what does it say? Chevy Chase, Demi Moore, John Candy, and Dan Aykroyd are nothing but uproarious in this cockeyed comedy, written and directed by Aykroyd and his brother Peter. Packing more ghoulish glee than Beetlejuice, welcome to Vulcanvania, the twilight zone of speed traps. One wrong turn off the New Jersey Turnpike. For some reason I think of Jersey Shore when I hear that. Is that naughty? Jersey Turnpike and stock market whiz Chase, an investment lawyer Moore. Isn't that great? A business investor and a lawyer together. Go figure. And more, Demi Moore, end up there. One minor driving violation. I gotta really look close to this, so forgive me for my William Shatner. Do you like that impersonation? Because it was horrible. Anyway, I'm getting off here. One minor driving violation, and they're hauled off by Vulcanvania's finest, John Candy, to the part courtroom, part funhouse of 106-year-old Justice of the Peace Alvin Valkenheiser, played by Dan Aykroyd. From frying pan to fire, Nothing But Trouble, with Aykroyd and Candy in 2 tasty rolls each, is a howl. I love Chevy Chase. I own a lot of his work. and I need to buy some of his biographies because he's written a few. That and Charles Grodin. I'm obsessed with him, and I love Saturday Night Live alum. So yeah, we've got Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd, John Candy, Demi Moore, and a few others. This is the back of the video. Can you see it? That's a ghoulish thing. Aykroyd was really keen on making this film. He enjoyed it. He loved it. I'm not sure how well it did at the box office, but I cannot speak today, guys. I'm not sure how well it did at the box office, but I don't think it did too well. Don't quote me on that. All they wanted was a little getaway. All they got was nothing but trouble. I don't see anything written by any critics on here or Rolling Stone magazine, but I love this film. I had it on VHS. A funny foursome in a laugh-filled lark. You even get cameo from, what was that Baldwin? Not Steven, not Alec. William Baldwin? There's like 4 of them, right? He makes a cameo, and then the second cameo of Pullovers is the amazing Digital Underground. R.I.P. Humpty Hump. Years ago, I saw this video on YouTube where he was like doing a tour of his house. I think it was in the hills. Great video. You guys should watch it. Look it up. Humpty Hump house tour. Something like that. It's from like early mid-2000s. Early 2010s. Anyway. So yeah. Chase is a business guy. Demi Moore's a lawyer. How they ended up together is they have to go in the same direction where they're going for vacation or something. I should have watched these films before I did this video, but I was so eager to do this because I've watched them so many times, and then when I want to record this, I go blank. So they go the same way, and then they got this fancy baby, hello baby, I want to, I'm trying to do that actor. Let's see. What was his name? So yeah, we have Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd, John Candy, Demi Moore, Valerie Bromfield. She's been in a few movies. She was in Harry Crumb with John Candy. She plays one of the officers in Nothing But Trouble. Taylor Negron. Rest in peace to him, too. He played Fausto. Fausto, come here. Give me my bags, my luggage. Baby, don't worry about the money. I could be doing a totally wrong accent. So be it. We're not here to critique that. Who else? What was that Baldwin? Daniel Baldwin. Oh, Peter Aykroyd's in this movie? Mike the Doorman. Oh, Mike the Doorman. I think he was at the hotel in the beginning of the movie or at the end. He opens the door. We even have, what were these other guys? There's 2 other big names in here. We have, Bill Murray's brother, Brian Doyle Murray, and Raymond J. Barry. You will know him from Born on the 4th of July. He played the father of Tom Cruise. If you haven't seen that movie, your eyes need to get a fucking life. Digital Underground, like I said, makes an appearance in this movie. Tupac was in Digital Underground. If you didn't know that, surprise. But, all around the world, same song. We do the Humpty Hump. I think I'm mixing 2 songs there. Anyway, that song is my favorite Digital Underground song. It really... And then we have Aykroyd playing the organ in the movie. That was awesome because it was just like... I think he was really actually playing the organ, if I'm not mistaken, or he was just a great actor in general, which he is. But yeah, so they get pulled over for speeding in this dead-ass town, and of course there's John Candy out of nowhere. Go figure, it's John Candy. Bringing top-notch performance, as always, just being himself. Big loving teddy bear. Pulls him over, takes him in, gets traffic violations. You know, you're coming over here into my town and you're gonna get a ticket, boy. Something like that. Don't ask me to do the voice because Aykroyd did it the best. Makes him stay the night. It's a pain in the ass. They are willing to do anything and everything, but Aykroyd's character, who is, what was his name again? His name was Judge Alvin J.P. Vulcan Heiser, who's given it really hard to Chris Thorne, who's played by Chevy Chase. It sounded dirty, didn't it? But yeah, so we have Diane and Chris. Those are the characters, Demi and Chevy. trying to get Judge Alvin to give him a slip. Come on, and is that bribery? Well, that could get you in even more trouble. And Dennis, played by John Candy, he loves it there. He grew up most of his life there. Dan Aykroyd's character took him in, but he also wants out, and he's being conflicted by these people who just they realize their mistake, and he realizes that Chevy and Demi's characters are being treated differently in this situation of a pullover violation for speeding, which I'm not making any sense with my wordage. Aykroyd is like, you know what? I need to marry my daughter off, who's also played by John Candy. Crazy shit going on here, because Dan Aykroyd also plays one of the little fat twins. I don't know how to describe them. Who played these twins? So Dan Aykroyd plays Bobo. Now I'm trying to remember who plays the other character. There's Bobo. These guys are adult baby looking diaper wearing freaks. So there's Bobo and Lil Debble, played by John Deviekis. What has John been in? He's been in Ghostbusters, Nothing But Trouble, Spies Like Us. Great films. What 3 great films? And they were all Aykroyd films. Go figure. But Bobo, Debble, they're kind of dumb, but they're not dumb at the same time. I'm jumping all over the place here, but this movie jumps all over the place, so it'll make sense to you once you watch it. It's like a fun house as well, this Vulcanvania house the judge owns. At first, I'm trying to remember the order. As I said, I didn't watch these ahead of time like I should have, because I've seen them a million times for the last 20 years. I think they're given the roller coaster, the Bone Chomper, or the Bone Crusher, or something, that Daniel Baldwin's character and his fellow actors get mutilated in, and somehow the bones are clean when they get spit out. Digital Underground didn't get the old trash bin. They got let go. Of course, it's Digital Underground. Why not? You gotta let them go with a cool piece of music like that. That being said, Chevy goes through a roller coaster, gets out because it malfunctions. He falls through the walls of the house, like the in-between walls of the house. I don't even know what you call that. Bones everywhere. It's a fucked up whole scenario. It's like a little bit of a dark comedy in a way. And there's also an oil swamp, or sewage, sorry, not oil. They do strike oil, though. I forgot about that. And a train set on the dinner table. Can you tell? I'm trying to remember this live. In the end, he ends up saying, yes, I'll marry your daughter if you fucking let me go. But you know he's not going to let him go. He's going to have to stay there now and take care of his daughter, who was also the name of, let's see, what was the daughter's name? Eldana. My sweet Eldana. Oh, it warmed my weary soul. If you remember this movie well, you remember he takes off his nose. He has like a penis nose, and that was on purpose. Is at the dinner table, Chevy Chase's character's kind of going delusional, because why wouldn't you in this situation, in this fucking family? I can't say enough. Watch this film. Trust me. Watch it. Second film. We have Robin Williams in Toys. I'm not even showing it there. Toys. Anybody remember this film? I'm going to tell you right now, this film is not cheap to buy now, and it's hard to find. I got it mint condition. Look at this. Mint condition. Yeah, right, I'm bragging. I'm a DVD collector. Hard to find. I had to buy it $30 from Canada because it's region 1. Go figure. If you know what I mean, you're a collector, you know what I mean when you have to look at the regions. Well, first of all, this movie was directed by Barry Levinson, produced by Mark Johnson and Barry Levinson, written by Valerie Curtin and Barry Levinson. If you don't know Barry Levinson, check out his work. So what do we got? Enter a spectacular world of whimsy, fun, fantasy in this acclaimed visual extravaganza. Directed by Barry Levinson, Robin Williams stars as Leslie Zevo of Zevo Toys, a fun-loving adult who must save his late father's toy factory from his evil uncle, Michael Gambon, a war-loving general who builds weapons disguised as toys, aided by his sister, Joan Cusack, and girlfriend, Robin Wright. Leslie sets out to thwart his uncle and restore joy and innocence to their special world. From 1992. It's 121 minutes long, almost 2 hours. Yeah, Michael Gambon. You should know, he plays Dumbledore after the original Dumbledore had passed, unfortunately. What do critics say about this? A delicious holiday gift that will make you smile. From the National News Syndicate. I don't even know if they're around anymore. So does it count? It should, because it's an awesome movie. When I watched this as a child, I did not understand the concept of what this movie was doing. But at the same time, I kind of did, because I knew this guy wants to make war toys, but this guy doesn't want that. He wants innocent toys to continue to create creativity and give it to children everywhere, to follow in his father's footsteps and bring love, joy, and happiness to the young ones of the world. I always thought that it was his brother, not his uncle, but Gambon plays a great, don't give a fuck, shut up, uncle war guy. He's trying to do everything he can to take it from the family and make it his own. Make these innocent toys, trick people on the battlefield, boom boom, you're dead, from a 2-inch army man. Yeah, go figure. Do things like this actually exist? If they do, let me know. Comment below. I might look it up after this if I don't forget. ADD can do amazing things to your mind. But yeah. The colors of this film are vivid, bright. It looks like you're watching an art piece in every scene. The toy factory has an elephant that... Was it outside? Yeah, it's outside. It blows bubbles. Now, I'm not sure how much of this was CG, or... I would love to watch the behind the scenes. Does this DVD have behind the scenes? Because most of it has Blu-ray now, and behind the scenes on Blu-rays are not longer than 15 minutes. Special feature. Featurette. Oh, good. So we got a featurette. That means you get to see the making of, which they would usually show on TV in the 90s to promote the movie. So you get, like, involved behind the scenes, gets you psyched to see the magic that will be on the silver screen. So, every scene's colorful. My favorite part is the music video that Joan Cusack... Joan Cusack? You mean John Cusack? That's Joan Cusack. That's John Cusack's sister. Duh. Robin Wright. I haven't seen her in a lot of things since the 90s, to be honest. At least the girlfriend. So Robin Wright, not Robin Wright. I'm getting confused here with the names. Joan Cusack, sister of Robin Williams in the movie, not in real life. They have to team up together. And Joan's just a fun-loving, free spirit in this movie. It gets a little bit emotional. But I will tell you, there's a little bit of a secret here that I just remembered. She's a robot that the dad made, or he made. Watch the movie, you'll find out. And it's unique because it's like nowadays. Robots that seem so lifelike. And really, she wants to show emotion and stuff. And it's just awkward. But they do this music video together to distract the security team so they can thwart this uncle's side project of terror. It's interesting, and it was produced by Thomas Dolby. If you know that name, you'll know She Blinded Me with Science! That song. Or, what's that? Slime Creatures from Outer Space? No, that's Weird Al's version. Something from Outer Space. That was like Thomas Dolby's other hit in the 80s. He also is the man behind Dolby Sound. If you see the word Dolby on any speakers from the 80s and 90s and so on, that is his work. He is a big producer, obviously. And he sang the song, Mirrors? It's the Mirror song. It's simply called the Mirror Song to get the smoke and mirrors illusion to trick the security. What a great play on words. The music video is great. Joan Cusack and Robin Williams lend their voice. Robin Williams did a lot of voice work in music in the 90s. Ferngully, Toys, Aladdin. I think he might have done one more thing until the 2000s came along. I can't quite remember. He was great. Rest in peace, Robin. Another film where somebody has passed. Jeez, I did not know it was on Disney Plus. Disney must have somehow have their hand in it. It's like Nightmare Before Christmas. Disney produced the soundtrack, but it's not a Disney movie. Yet it's in Kingdom Hearts, which I thought was weird when that game came out. I was like, Nightmare Before Christmas, awesome. And now they have themes of that in Disneyland and stuff. But I don't see... Hans Zimmer is the music guy in this thing. LL Cool J's in this. I forgot about that. LL Cool J. If you could tell me why Disney is featuring that movie, please let me know. It's a PG movie, right? It's rated PG? PG-13. And it's on Disney Plus. Get out of here. Does anybody remember seeing this on Comedy Central in the early 2000s or TV in general? All Tied Up. Starring Zach Galligan. Do you remember who Zach Galligan is? It was like that time travel Waxworks. Waxworks is the Waxworks movies from the 80s. And one in the 80s, one in the 90s. Waxworks 1 and 2. And Gremlins, right? Gremlins. Lara Harris, Tracy Griffith, and Gold Globe Award winner Terry Hatcher. What a babe, by the way. Terry Hatcher. Woo! I actually love this film. For the longest time, I didn't know the name of this, so on the early days of Google, which was like, what, 99, late 90s? I remember I started using Google when it came out, because we got an iMac in 99. You know, when the iMac would be like turquoise and white, pink and white, and you could kind of see inside of it. Had the handle, you carry that big ass box. I was typing in Google, movie where guy gets tied up to a bed by girlfriend, revenge, something. I typed in some long description. I was amazed Google narrowed it down, and I kept seeing this movie All Tied Up. So I was like, I'll click on it, and lo and behold, it was this movie. Special edition. Oh, featuring Terry Hatcher, star of... I forgot she was in Desperate Housewives, and it says that. When was this movie produced? In 2005, at the height of Desperate Housewives, of course. I did not see this in any store. I got this off Amazon at a great deal. So, Brian Hartley was an incurable bachelor, but he's bound to find true love one way or another. So let's read it from this description. Brian Hartley, played by Zach Galligan, has finally found the girl of his dreams in Linda Alicio, Terry Hatcher. Unfortunately, he can't convince her or himself that it's really true. When she catches him with another woman, she finally decides she's had enough and vows to never see him again. Dun dun dun. But, there's always that but. Frenzied from the loss, Brian breaks into her house to try to talk her into seeing him again. But Linda and her roommates, Kim, Laura Harris, she was also in another film. I think it's Laura Harris is that one who can have a real bitch attitude. Great bitch attitude actress. Laura Harris and Sharon, Tracy Griffiths, instead bind him to the bed. Would this be PC nowadays? Would people argue about this? Tying a man to bed? Probably not. After each torture him in their own way, the torture scenes are the best. We'll get to that. If you like that S&M. Just kidding. Close, though. After each torture him in their own way, Linda finally relents and releases him because she truly doesn't want to have anything to do with him any longer. Relieved at his release... Relieved at his release, Brian tries to settle back into this bachelor life, but Linda keeps coming to his mind. Oh, while out on a steamy date, he finally realized the depths of his love for Linda. To convince her of his sincerity, he kidnaps her and takes her to his apartment in one final attempt to communicate his true feelings. Disclaimer: if you like this movie, check out these others: Blue Laser Films, Fast Food, Venus on the Half Shell, and Wanderlust. I don't know any of those movies. This movie was directed by John Mark Robinson, produced by Isabel Mula, who's the writer, written by Robert Madero and I. Marky Lane. 1992. 31 years ago. No. Yeah, 31 years ago. Yes, I can still do math. All right. So, there's an actor who plays a crossdresser in the bar scene at the beginning of the film after Linda dumps his ass. And he's, feeling down on the rocks. I love that actor, by the way, who plays the bartender. Where is this guy? Oh, bartender, Patrick Bergin. Patrick Bergin is not the actor who I thought it was. What has he been in? So, he's known for Sleeping with the Enemy. Wait a second. Is this Patrick Bergin? Oh, is this the crazy obsessive abuser of Julia Roberts in Sleeping with the Enemy? He might be. Great movie, by the way. He was in Patriot Games, Robin Hood, 1991, and Love Crimes. What was the latest one? Nutcracker Massacre, Blackbird, God's Petting You, The Kindred. A lot of straight-to-video movies. Oof. So, yeah, Laura Harris. How old is she now? Oh, she was a babe back in the day, too. So, she was born... Doesn't say. Has she been in anything? I'm getting off here. She was in 2017 Shooter. She was the professor in the TV series Shooter. Oh, okay. The Young and the Restless, Model Agent, to 2013. She really hasn't been in much since the 90s. Wow, it's kind of been sporadic throughout the last couple decades. Her two friends, just despise him because, Laura Harris is definitely a feminist. Yeah, she is the top-notch feminist in this movie. And Tracy Griffith is the laid-back, bubbly girl. She's that kind of flirt, but she kind of like teases you, kind of leads you on. Maybe intentionally, maybe not, because that's just her bubbly personality. So let's get down to it. They decide to tie him to a bed because he broke into their house. How dare he? Shame on him. And then shame on him again for trying to force her to listen. Oh, this could be his abuse. Yeah, you get arrested for this shit. You might even get arrested for tying him to a bed. I don't know. The irony. Looking back on this in this day and age. They tie him to a bed, torture him. Now let's get to Terry. She's like, I don't want to see you. You know what? Maybe you do deserve this. I feel bad for him, but no, you do deserve it. And her friends, Kim and Linda, those are the friends of Terry Hatcher. I'm going to call them by their character names. So Linda, the main girl, is divided. She's like, I don't want to do this to him, because eventually he gets poked and prodded and tired. And she's feeling absolutely sad now and down, like she feels really bad. Tightens those ropes around his hands, gives him the old belt. Oh, just is a real bitch. he's like trying to scream for mercy, and then eventually he has to go piss. I don't remember if it was Lara's character or Tracy's character, the bubbly girl. Man, they're really testing him now to see his true feelings or to teach him a lesson. And he's like going with it, just try to just at least give him that key to get out as soon as he can, which isn't going to happen. But he has to pee. And he tries to convince her so much to just let him pee. And eventually she does, because of the stupid idiot that she is, too open and friendly. He turns on the water in the bathroom, hops out the window, still tied up to his ankles, and he doesn't get far. He's like trying to scoop, but the girls carry him back on a stick like he's about to be barbecued over a fire pit. It's real. You're just like rooting for him right there. You're like, come on, like, God dang it, he's stuck in that damn room again. He's so familiar with now. You ever been in that situation where has anybody been trapped before? And you're like, shit, here I am again. Or in a hospital room. I was just here a month ago. I'm stuck in this room I never thought I was going to be out of again. God. Let's go back to COVID memories. Has anybody been stuck in the hospital for like 2 weeks? You're like, I can't move. And then at one point, he also wants to watch the football game. He's like, no! And he can't do anything. He's just, and he got an itch he can't scratch. It's just an amalgamation of things. It's going to give you a headache. You're going to feel sorry for Zach at the end. And you really feel his seriousness as the movie progresses. You can really feel that he's being honest and truthful, that he does fall in love with her. And he knows for sure that he wants to be with her. It's not a conflict of, do I want to commit? Do I not? And stuff like that. Our fourth film on Forgotten Films. This is my number one childhood movie that I quote, Clifford. This is my ultimate favorite movie by Martin Short. And Paul Flaherty, wrote and produced Jiminy Glick. If you know Jiminy Glick, which is another character played by Martin Short, heavyset critic who's just off the wall, ADHD everywhere, was on Comedy Central. And Martin Short still plays the character today, but it's very sporadic. It's not often now. But this was the movie they did together before Jiminy Glick came about. So, meet the new face of trouble. So we had the problem child, and you had something else. But this came out around the time of Problem Child 1 and 2. So we have Martin Short, Charles Grodin, rest in peace, Charles. Great actor. Love his books that he writes, or did write. Mary Steenburgen, Back to the Future Part 3. That's the only movie I can tell you guys right now that I would assume you'd know her from. She plays the love interest of damn it, his name was Christopher Lloyd. Doc Brown! God, Sarge. That was Michael J. Fox's character from, the war movie. Anyway, Mary Steenburgen, Charles Grodin, Martin Short, Dabney Coleman plays a great asshole in this movie, and in Tootsie with Dustin Hoffman, which also starred another SNL cast member, Bill Murray. Get ready for mischief, mayhem, and madness with this outrageous comedy starring the truly hysterical, from the LA Reader, Martin Short, co-starring Charles Grodin and Mary Steenburgen. Clifford is crammed with enough laughs out loud moments from Los Angeles Times and brilliantly subtle, sophisticated humor. Entertainment Today. God damn, there's a lot of quotes in here in this reading. To spoil you for good. So, meet the new face of trouble, pretty much. Forget Problem Child. Smart, hyperactive, and dangerous 10-year-old Clifford, played by Martin Short, who was 41 at the time of this, maybe late 30s, or maybe dead on 40, has lifelong dream to visit Dinosaur World theme park. Happily, his uncle Martin has agreed to take him. But when Martin suddenly Reneges. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know that word. Anyway, he has business things come up that prevent him from seeing his nephew as a priority in what he wants to do. When he retracts his promise, Clifford hatches a devious plan to get even and teaches Uncle that all work and no play makes Clifford a very bad boy. That couldn't be more true. So, has anybody ever had one of those dreams of going to Disneyland or Disney World or Universal, somewhere major theme park, and you're so close to getting there, or you're so close to that location that you never get to go there until you're older, but you wanted to so bad? It's like that kid that wants a dog. I was one of those kids, and eventually I got one in the late 90s. Before the age of 10, booyah. Not that mattered. He really wants to go to Dinosaur World. I'm Larry, the scary Rex. I'm a scary dinosaur, but don't be scared of my sharp, sharp teeth or my mighty, mighty roar. Do-do-do-do-do. If you know the song, you know the song. Rewind it, let's sing it together. His uncle, Charles Grodin, is just too involved in the city planning. He knew a guy, or knows a guy at Dinosaur World because he helped construct that theme park. Supposedly, that's what he said. And has connections. Get in there anytime he wants. Lifetime access. And Clifford just pulls a problem child. Hell, right and left. And he has this little dinosaur named Stefan. Stefan? What was that? And I'm going to have to share that clip of him arguing at the dinner table when his uncle's just trying to tell him to just grow the hell up. Face it, things don't happen the way you want in life. And you don't always get what you want. It drives Charles Grodin crazy. And Grodin plays an awesome crazy uncle in this. Is going crazy. You're losing your mind. If you've ever worked with kids, as I have, you understand what I'm talking about right now. And when I see a 40-year-old man playing a 14-year-old boy, I still believe he's a little boy. Because he was on his knees during the filming of this, so obviously he could be shorter than Charles Grodin. And Mary Steinbergen, being the innocent, lovely actress that she is, she just doesn't see the evil in Clifford, and Uncle Martin's like, you bitch, you need to see the evil that is the spawn of Satan in this house. And Clifford plays the innocent role very well at the right moments too. He sabotages his uncle right and left, blows up a miniature set at a work event, puts hot sauce in his Bloody Mary, which I love, by the way, Bloody Marys. A prank voicemail to get him framed and arrested. Makes him on a wild goose chase on a train to look for him when he didn't run away. It throws a house party when he's gone. It's just crazy. Fun fact, this movie was actually filmed in 1990 and was to be released in 91. That's why there's like a music track in there was from the early 90s, and you're like, why is this being played in 94? Which I thought was kind of odd for the year it was released. So yeah, recorded in 90, was supposed to be released in the summer of 91, but it remained in the back room, let's say, for years because Orion Pictures had a financial situation. They were going bankrupt, and it wasn't released until 1994 when it was when they were like, oh, we got to get this out. And I'm glad that it was released and not just left in limbo. Orion Pictures isn't around anymore, obviously. But the logo came back for the Bill and Ted 3 film, right? That's what I thought I saw. It was a box office bomb. Negative reception. But the film has gained cult status. Definitely. It's a cult film, and if you don't know it, you need to get on this shit right now because you're going to have a wild ride. Charles Grodin has just lost it. Took him to Dinosaur World. Going to murder him on that Larry the Scary Rex ride, which we get to see that too. The theme park is just magical. You wish that thing existed once you see it and the ride. You're like, oh, God, I wish this was real. And they did record a song for Larry the Scary Rex, but it's never been released. And I wish, and if there is somebody who has access to it, I want to see it. I want to hear this song. But yeah, it is crazy. Crazy movie. This one's called Krippendor's Tribe, starring Richard Dreyfuss, Jenna Elfman from Will and Grace, Natasha Lyonne. I think she was in American Pie? At least some of it. Gregory Smith. I think he played in Spy Kids, if I'm not mistaken. He plays a mute son. No, not Gregory. Sorry. That kid from the young brother from Spy Kids is in this movie. Gregory Smith played in Small Soldiers, if I remember correctly, right? Let me see. Let me see his filmography. He played in... yeah, Small Soldiers from 1998. Dante, a Dante film, because he made Gremlins. Joe Dante. Edmund, Carl Michael Lindner. Slappy, Stinkers, Lost and Found, Krippendor Tribe. Wait, is the kid not from Spy Kids? What? Huh. I guess he's not from Spy Kids. What movie was that? Oh, I'm thinking of the borrowers. The brother in that movie played Andy. I got a headache right now, guys, so I'm everywhere. Thanks, ADD. What is Krippendorf's tribe? Well, a university professor, is on the verge of losing his job because he is just not doing so well. He gets desperate, and then at the last minute says, "Oh, I've just found. I forgot to show you this. Krippendor." That is Richard Dreyfuss. Yeah, maybe that's just his head. I don't know if that's really his boss and just Jenna Elfman. So, let's read the description first before I explain more of the movie. Hysterically funny. NY1 Cable, New York. Don't know them. This outrageous comedy stars Richard Dreyfuss, Mr. Holland's opus. At that time, it was a big movie for him to be known in. And sexy Jenna Elfman. Okay. Dharma and Greg. I'm losing it, guys. I said Will and Grace. Dharma and Greg. Woo! Okay, Dharma and Greg. Will and Grace. You know, I bet you a lot of people who are listening to this probably thought the same thing. You guys get those shows confused, and I still do today, apparently. Who discovers that primitive culture is as close as your own backyard? Instead of documenting a previously unknown tribe in New Guinea, Professor James Krippendor has blown the last 2 years and all his grant money rearing his out-of-control kids. Desperate to bluff his way past impatient colleagues, Krippendorf decides to focus his camera on the wildest tribe he can find, his own outrageous offspring. With a top cast including Lily Tomlin, who's going to be in a new movie coming out soon, 2023, flirting with disaster, you'll find the crowd pleasing lengths taken to pull off his hoax absolutely hilarious. So yeah, I believe the wife had passed away in this film as to why he's a single dad, and he's desperate for money to take care of his kids. He's thinking about his family, but the way he's doing it isn't very smart. So he's on the verge of Lily Tomlin letting him go, or trying to convince the university to let him go, because she's better than him, right? But he gets desperate and says, "Oh, I discovered this tribe in New Guinea that has been closed off from society. A newly discovered one for us. And I'm going to document it." So the guy from The Serpent and the Rainbow, I forgot the actor's name, plays the tribe connection from a real tribe that pretend to be the fake tribe for footage, for a prank call. You got to watch it. You'll understand what I'm talking about. So he gets desperate. So one scene that stood out to me is where he gets one of his son's toys. It's like this brown rocket that was in pieces, not fully together. And he got desperate. He says, you have to present a little slideshow in the observatory, not the observatory, dang it, what is that called? That room where students go. Anyway, you have to do a PowerPoint presentation, that's what we'd call it now, to these students to show them that it's worth funding, and to the school. And he's like, shit, I wrote something, and he loses the notes. He comes up with something, grabs whatever he could from home, and he's like, this is a Neolithic dildo. The male places his part inside to represent fertilization. It is just wacky. It was in the 90s, guys. If you know the 90s, it was the decade of weird and sick humor, which I loved. Yeah, it's the 90s. That's all I gotta say. And that intrigued the people. They started raising their head like, oh, but what is this, this. And then when he's trying to seduce Jenna Elfman's character, she's drunk. Man, another movie where you could question if this would be complained about nowadays. I mean, I love movies like this. Comedy is freedom of speech and just expression. Come on, it's a movie. But he grabs this tribal piece and he says, this measured the woman's breast, like one thing this it's yeah, it is what it is. It's is that considered rape? I don't know. But and long story short, they end up falling for each other. Weird because the age difference. he dresses up his kids in tribal paint and costumes. They make it home. Their backyard is turned into a tribal with things. And there's a young Mila Kunis in this movie who's ready to get pissed on. Yeah, before R. Kelly. In a hut on a stage. So he goes as far as to continuing to babble on about this. And Jenna Elfman's character's involved in this to help document it for the actor who plays the voice of Cogsworth in Beauty and the Beast. And he's really trying to pull it off, saying, no, I'm not busy, I'm doing this, I've got this, and eventually it comes down to an end where she gets found out, but that doesn't happen until later. I don't want to leave out anything juicy in this story. He just keeps making up shit after shit. And he really starts creating this world, and it really pulls him together closer with his children, who had kind of been distant because of the loss of his mother, and the youngest son stopped talking after a while because he was traumatized of the mom's passing, and then eventually he talked in the end to defend his father, who was found out during the final thing. Oh, by the way, he dresses up as a tribal person, Richard Dreyfuss does, in that paint, as you see in the, right here. This is the character he plays from the tribe at the end of the movie. And he has to go back and forth, kind of like Mrs. Doubtfire's Robin Williams had to go from Mrs. Doubtfire to the father, back and forth to the restaurant. Pretty much the same thing they're getting it from. This movie's made 98, Doubtfire 93. But it still works for this movie. And eventually, he gets caught, he has to be honest, and one of his friends that are from a tribe in New Guinea call Lily Tomlin's character and tells him, hey, this tribe is real. And she goes there to see it, and she gets crazy. And she's doing all the shit they were making up. Yeah, it's a touching film. It's one of my favorites from the 90s, and it has a kick-ass song by the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. Knock on wood, or the impression that I get. There we go. I never want to knock on wood, because if I have something like that, you know. I love ska punk 90s music. Amazing. Trumpets rule my world. But before we go, we have 2 honorable mentions. One being Be Kind, Rewind. So, experience the antics of 2 outcasts, Jack Black and Mos Def, as they attempt to save a local video store. This was when VHS was pretty much gone. Because I remember in 2003 or 4, VHS was going extinct permanently. Because Freddy vs. Jason had come out on DVD. And there was also a VHS, just like PlayStation games were going out in the early 2000s. It was going to PlayStation 2. So this was like one of the last local video stores in this outrageous and offbeat comedy from Academy Award-winning writer-director Michael Gondry, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Amateur film director Mike, Mos Def, must find a way to save the business after his magnetized friend, Jerry, Jack Black, erases every movie in the store because he gets some radiation exposure nearby at some thing by where he stays. It was weird movie. And using an outdated video camera and their own special effects, the two embark on an adventure to remake all the movies, from Ghostbusters to Driving Miss Daisy, turning the 2 town misfits into local celebrities. So basically, long story short, this is what I love about this movie, Be Kind, Rewind. It's like YouTube. Because YouTube came out in 2005, and this was at the height of YouTube's popularity, which really took off for YouTube in 2010. They're making their own versions of these films and selling them in the store on VHS. This is what I used to do in high school. I used to make short films for fun on cassette tapes, recordings, like my own radio show, or my own videos on VHS, and I still have these. They make their own version of the Ghostbusters. So it's like a low-budget Ghostbusters, low-budget Driving Miss Daisy, low-budget Space Odyssey, Alien, what was the other one? King Kong. It is wild. I love, and Sigourney Weaver has a cameo in this as the person who wants to tear down that store and put some other real estate there. And there's like, not Fats Domino. Is it Fats Domino? Something Fats. It was an old jazz blues singer that they make a documentary about that was part of the local town. And they make a documentary about it, and that really holds it in because they were holding a viewing of this. And people were really just coming to see their own, what did they call it? They had a title for these special movies. It was like, specialed. I had a crush on that girl who plays that girl there. She played with Shia LaBeouf and Robert Downey Jr. in Recognizing Your Saints, A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints. So let's see, Jack Black, Mos Def, Danny Glover. Danny Glover's in this too. Sigourney Weaver, Mia Farrow. Oh my god! And Melanie Diaz. Woo! What is she doing nowadays? That's what I want to know. Anyway, Jack Black gives this name for these movies, like specialized, or you know what I'm talking about. And it just amplifies the movie, and you just want to keep watching more. Like me, I would want to keep watching more too. It is just addicting. I'm Still Here. Remember this Joaquin Phoenix mockumentary? I didn't know anything about this. I just knew about the movie. So I didn't know this shit people was really falling for, as David Letterman was in on it. Other people that late night talk show hosts that had Joaquin Phoenix. He disappeared for a little bit, wanting to retire from movies. Retire, so to say. And this movie made everybody think it was real. He wants to take on a rap career. There's a scene in here I'm going to have to show later where he's in the recording studio, and I just bust up every time he's trying to come up with this. You'll see, as I've said earlier. So let's see. Oscar nominee Casey Affleck, who starred in Tower Heist and Interstellar, plays the son of Matthew McConaughey, I think? Yeah, the older son. Casey Affleck and Joaquin Phoenix blow the roof off of controversial filmmaking in groundbreaking project. Joaquin gives a powerful performance as JP, an out-of-control Hollywood actor who commits career suicide to become a hip-hop star. JP shuts himself off from the protection and better judgment of his agent, manager, and publicist, and sets out on a jaw-dropping journey into a decadent frenzy of sex, drugs, and outrageousness as he tries to desperately break away from his old celebrity persona to develop his rap career. Mired in self-doubt and harsh criticism from the media, he struggles to find his identity. Total jaw-dropping, riveting in the cinematic car accident you can't take your eyes from. So yeah, Joaquin really pulled this hoax off, apparently, in the late 2000s. For a few years, actually, on late night talk shows, which they show behind the scenes and extra clips in the movie, or the documentary, I should say, mockumentary. It made it really convincing. He would hold a few private concerts at small venues where he's rapping, and then somebody shits on him on the thing. It's just, I think they were in on it, though, so he didn't really hurt somebody. But I really thought this was real. I was like, no way. And then Joaquin Phoenix made a big comeback in, I want to say Her? Where he talks to that AI. Now AIs are everywhere. But yeah, it's a mockumentary. You see him building the studio. He even makes P. Diddy laugh his ass off because P. Diddy can't believe it. I don't think a lot of these people were in on it. Some of them were, depending on what he was doing. It's a crazy ass documentary. You guys really need to watch it. It's called I'm Still Here from 2010. I recommend you guys check out all 5 of the Forgotten Films, plus the 2, which makes 7 films. It's worth watching. You're not going to regret it. And it might open your mind to films you didn't know and you're going to end up loving. And as a lover of film, I'm glad that I could present these to you. Now, this isn't something I'm going to do often. This is just something I had on my mind because maybe people don't know about these and they need to. And I want to share some of the things I love, which we do here on our Arguably Awesome podcast. Airflow and I like to share our loves and interests. Hey, and if you're in the Portland, Oregon area and you would be down to meet up, let us know. We plan on having 3 meetups this year. 95% of our listeners are from the Portland, Oregon or Oregon in general, area, come. If you see us on the street, say hi to us. Say, yo, A.CARD. Hey, yo, Airflow. Arguably awesome. Woo, woo, woo. This has been the Arguably Awesome Podcast, and I've been your host, A.CARD. Check out A.CARD TV, and in July, Dissecting Cinema. Check out the trailer. I'll post it below in the description. Peace!